Hey Pokemon Champions, it's Champion Blaze here, and let me ask you for the final time. What if you were a Pokemon Trial Captain or Kahuna? I've asked this question many times before, and we've gone through all the different types in the game, from Fairy, Fire, Grass. We've made trials for every single other type. Types that already existed with trials in the Sun and Moon games, and other types that were not represented with a trial or Kahuna to represent that type. So today, we are tackling the final type being the Dragon type. Now the Dragon type is in a pretty weird spot when it comes to the Sun and Moon games. Now other trials, such as Fire and Water, had a full-fledged trial for that type, but other types, such as Ground or Rock, only had a Kahuna to represent their type. And then other types had other characters to represent them, such as Poison and Bug being represented by Guzma and Plumeria. But when it comes to the Dragon typing, it really kind of had half a trial, and not even any person represented that typing. The events of Pony Canyon, and then eventually that battle against Totem Kamou, is what can be considered as the unofficial Dragon trial. But today, we are going to make an official creative trial to represent the Dragon type. So with that being said, let's create a brand new trial for the Dragon type in the Alola region. When you begin your Dragon trial, it's not going to start until you get to almost the very end of Vast Pony Canyon. This is going to be the area with that giant cave in which you can go inside, there will be a pedestal, and you can get Draconium Z. However, it's going to play out a little bit different with this trial. So what you're going to do is you're going to walk over to the cave and try to enter it. A little cutscene is going to play of a dragon flying over you and going above the cave. You're going to hear this dragon's cry from below, look around, but you won't see the dragon as it's already flown off. So you're just going to proceed and go on into the cave. You enter the cave and you see the pedestal like normal, and you're going to go up to it and try and get that Z crystal like you've done many times before. But you are going to be stopped. You'll be unable to get this Z crystal from the pedestal because the Dragon type Pokemon that live locally in this area of Vast Pony Canyon are going to begin to get territorial with you. They're going to see you as an intruder, someone invading their space, trespassing. So they're going to see you as a threat. They're going to be wondering what you're doing here. Some of the Dragon type Pokemon that you'll be fighting in this little mini game, as I call them with my trials, are going to include the following: Gible, Gabite, Jangmo-o, Hakamo-o, Sliggoo, Shelgon, and Zweilous. These are going to be among some of the Dragon type Pokemon you'll be fending off. Now how this little mini game is going to work is that you are going to actually team up with a wild Goodra. You're going to start dodging attacks from these Dragon type Pokemon like Dragon Pulse, Dragon Rage, Twister. You'll be dodging moves like those, and after you dodge a few on your own, like in Legends Arceus, kind of dodging in that way, duck and roll, there's going to be a giant Goodra, a little abnormally larger than normal, maybe it's a bigger size Goodra, but it's going to emerge from a dark place in the cave, and it's going to defend you similar to how Ash's Goodra defended the marshlands in the Kalos region. So you, the player, team up with this Goodra, and Goodra is actually going to know 4 moves that you'll have access to, which is going to be Ice Beam, Dragon Pulse, Sludge Wave, and Rain Dance. Of course, its ability is Hydration, so if it takes any status conditions, Hydration will kick in to help. You'll be able to use Goodra to dish out attacks, these 3 different attacks from Ice, Dragon, and Poison, and you'll be able to defeat the Dragon-type Pokemon that are attacking you. Defeat enough of these waves of Dragon-type Pokemon, the minigame will end, and you'll be seen as stronger than the Dragons. They'll respect your strength. But even though they admire your strength, they may not fully trust you just yet. And that's when the real trial is going to begin. As they let you leave the cave and move forward because they cannot defeat you, you get outside, and then you'll be greeted by a dragon's cry. You'll hear the cry, look around, but then when you look up, you'll see a giant Totem Kamou descend down from above the cave. It lands down, lets out a mighty roar, and then that is when the real trial begins. You'll be fighting Totem Kamou. I decided to leave the totem the same because it just really works. It's a dragon Pokemon from Alola, so it's perfect. Totem Kamo is going to be strong just as always, but I'm going to change up its allies a little bit. It's still going to call upon Hakamo'o like normal, but its other two allies will be Gabite. In a very rare instance, it will be able to call upon Salamence. I think this is a nice reference to actually being able to catch Salamence on Route 1 in the Sun and Moon games, if by some miracle it's chain called. So if by some miracle that happens, you can start the game with a fully evolved pseudo-legendary Pokemon, and that is just completely wild. So I think it'd be fitting if in the last trial of the game, you are able to, in some rare instances, fight this pseudo-legendary as well. But of course, after a hard-fought battle, you'll be able to take down its allies and Totem Kamo-o. After that, I'll also appear in the distance and walk over to you, seeing as how you've been able to overcome the strength of these dragons from Alola and various other regions. I congratulate you on overcoming that. You are now awarded Draconium Z, and you'll be able to use it when you battle the Grand Trial leader. That's going to be me. So the battle against the unofficial kahuna of this area starts, and I will use my team of 3 like always. This specific team of 3 is going to be Dragonite, Flygon, and Goodra. It's actually revealed before the battle that my Goodra was helping you out. I saw you struggling with these Dragon-type Pokemon, and my Goodra went out to assist you. Now that you've proven your strength, you have to prove your strength to me as well to see if you're worthy of keeping Draconium Z. Maybe you've got an Ice type on your team or a Water type with Ice type coverage. Maybe you've got a dragon of your own. Maybe you caught one before starting this trial. But nonetheless, you'll take down my team of 3 Dragon-type Pokemon, and you will be worthy of keeping Draconium Z. And with that being said, you will have passed the Dragon-type trial of the Alola region. So there we go, Pokemon champions, that is what I would do if I was to create a Dragon-type trial. But of course, the best part of this series is when you guys leave your own trials down in the comments below. So how would you make your Dragon trial? What would your team be? What's the challenge involved? This is the final trial in the series. We've made trials for all 18 types now. Every single type has been covered with a brand new trial in the Alola region. Thank you guys so much for watching, and with that being said, until next time, train hard Pokemon champions, I'll catch you guys later.